Are we live also on Substack? Make sure we're live on Substack also. Hey everyone. Hi everyone. Let me just double check, make sure we're live everywhere. Hey Alexander, how are you?
How are you, Lev?
Good, my brother. Let me just double check, make sure we're live everywhere. Yeah, okay. We're live on Substack and we are live on YouTube. Welcome everyone. It is Friday. It is 4 o'clock, and right now we should all be just spending some more time enjoying our Thanksgiving. But we have a lot of breaking news. Some of the breaking news that has nothing to do with the United States, you would say, but it has everything to do with the United States because of what's happening overseas in right now in Ukraine. Just a quick breaking news that we have over here, Alexander. I just wanted to give everybody, it's breaking right now that Trump just now basically officially canceled all of the pardons that Biden has done with the auto pen. And he is also now currently threatening ex-President Biden, with perjury on charges. So we have some incredible breaking stories all over the place today, which we're going to get into later on today. This is actually breaking as we're speaking. So as we're done here, folks, I'm probably going to end up going live again. But this, what we're going live right now, has to do a lot with what we've been talking about basically since we've come on this platform, since we've come on Substack, YouTube. Me and Alexander have been talking the same thing. We've been mentioning the same names. We've been talking about the same circles. We've been talking about how the reason why Steve Witkoff, Kirill Dmitriev, now you're starting to hear Jared Kushner is on his way to Moscow. I implode everybody, if you haven't yet, make sure go read my letter today, the one I wrote earlier today. It's called Trump's Secret Moscow Deal and the Plot to Take Down Zelensky. It's on my Substack. For those of you that have not yet subscribed, please make sure go subscribe to Substack at Lev Remembers. It's free. Make sure to read the letter. It's a lot of important information for you to understand what's happening now, because and we're going to talk about a lot of the breaking news and where it's coming from. So basically earlier today in the morning, we broke the news that Chief of Staff Andriy Yermak, who was all of a sudden his apartment, his offices were raided by the SBU and the NABU. These are special units in Ukraine set up with the help of the United States and the FBI back in the day in 2014 to 2016 to fight anti-corruption. Now, a lot of you that follow me are aware that I've been talking about a story about, and I've been writing about something extremely important that there's been since in October when what's his name? Kirill Dmitriev was here in the United States, and when he met with Witkoff and when he met with Jared Kushner, not only did he give him the 28-point plan, which is, I call it the Ukraine surrender plan, not the peace plan, but he also, very importantly, gave him some compromise information that has to do basically with an operation of corruption that was going on in an energy company in the UK. The individuals that were supposedly involved were people that had to do in Zelensky's circle. Some of these people Zelensky has not been in contact with in 6 years, since 2019. The breaking news today, folks, is the person that's involved in actually doing this operation and where this news is coming from. His name is Andriy Yermak. For those of you that he might sound familiar, he's the same Andriy Yermak that used to be and for those of you that don't know, let me tell you, he's the same Andriy Yermak that was involved in 2018, 19, and 20, and when we did the Biden disinformation Russian campaign that fed information to Rudy Giuliani, that fed information to Lindsey Graham, Senator Ron Johnson, He's the same Andrei Dierkach that was the at the time he was a parliamentary member in Ukraine, while at the same time, his background, his father was the head of the KGB unit for over 20, 30 years. This is the same Andrei Dierkach that released the fake tapes of then President Joe Biden and President Poroshenko that were doctored to make believe that Biden was, threatening it over a bribe. This is the same Andrei Dierkach that after I got arrested and after I warned Rudy Giuliani and told him that he is a Russian asset working for the Russians. After my arrest, Rudy Giuliani and Victoria Tunzing and the team decided in December of 2019 to go visit in Ukraine to get Russian disinformation that they tried to use to then impeach Joe Biden. This is the same Andrei Dierkach that I testified in Congress against, that was sanctioned by the United States under Trump's administration by the Treasury Department. This is the same Andrei Dierkach that the Ukrainians have targeted and have an arrest warrant out for treason. And this is the same Andrei Dierkach, folks, that is doing this operation, and you won't believe it when I tell you, is currently not only living in Russia, but is currently an official senator in the Russian parliament. This is who has given this information. Prior to fleeing Ukraine to Russia, he used to be Minister of Energy, used to be involved in energy, and these tapes, these leaks, and these conversations that the investigation is being opened on are coming from him, from his office, from leaks that he's putting out. Now, I want to make it very clear, and I want to make it very clear right off the bat, I am not here to protect Andriy Yermak. I'm not here to protect Vladimir Zelensky. I'm not here to protect anybody in Ukraine. This is not about protecting any and standing here and saying that there isn't corruption. I want to make it very clear, there is corruption. Corruption is very rampant, not only in Ukraine, in Russia, and mostly all of those Eastern countries. But not only that, folks, corruption is rampant all over the world. Look at the corruption we're dealing here in the United States in front of our eyes, where the president and his family just made over $5 billion in over 10 months. So the corruption is everywhere, and I'm not going to say that it's not, and I'm not going to defend it. And I want to make it clear that everybody that is involved in stealing money from any aid that was delivered to Ukraine during the war needs to get punished. But just like everybody that was involved in the Democratic campaign that allowed Donald Trump to get president and hid and did stuff also needs to get punished. But like I said, there's a time and a place for everything. And right now we're at war to save our democracy. We're at war to save our freedom. Right now is not a time to try to open up investigations and try to find who stole $1 million here or there. Absolutely, there's a time and place. Right now unless it's done properly, unless it's done by your own authorities, unless it's done by NABU, if they have proper evidence and proper sources that are telling him that this is what's going on, absolutely do it whenever it is. Doesn't matter the time, but not when you're getting this information from Russian sources, from actually the Kremlin directly, from Kirill Dmitriev, from Andrei Dierkach. When this information is coming from them and starting it, it's part of what I've been warning you folks. It's part of what they're trying to do. It's called regime change. They're trying to change the regime in Ukraine, just like they're trying to do it in Venezuela, the same way they're trying to change it in Ukraine during the war, because they understand during Zelensky they're not going to be able to stop it. Trump's not going to get his win, and Putin is not going to get his win. And Russia right now is in dire straits. Their economy is going to almost zero. Ukraine strategically has been attacking them, and Alex is going to talk about some of the shadow fleets also that have been attacked during these past couple of days that the media is not talking about. But let's understand exactly, get into what transpired right now. Right now, the breaking news is Andriy Yermak has resigned. He put a letter of resignation, and he is no longer the chief of staff. I also want to make it clear. I want you to understand, this is the same Andriy Yermak that's been by Zelensky's side from day one from the war. This is also the same Andriy Yermak. Again, I'm not. This has nothing to do if he stole money, if he didn't, if he's guilty or not. That if he is, he should be punished. But I want you to understand that this is the same Andriy Yermak that literally a few days ago was in Geneva with Marco Rubio, Senator Marco Rubio, working on the 28-point peace plan. This is also the same Andriy Yermak that literally was supposed to be flying down with the Ukrainian delegation to Miami. Just think about Miami, just like gangster style. They were supposed to be coming down to sit down in some restaurant to sit down with Kushner and Witkoff to talk about before their trip to Moscow. Just think about what is taking place. And all of a sudden, today in the morning, we broke the news. His apartment was raided. Now, all of a sudden, he resigned. Alex, I know there's a lot to uncover there, but let's start off with what is Zelensky saying right now? I know he's come out with some statements. You want to give us a take on what's happening there in Ukraine?
Okay. Hello, everybody. Hello, Lev again. This broke out this morning. Well, it was in the middle of the night where you at. As we know that Nabu is an American-owned entity, and it was put in by U.S. But nevertheless, this morning there was a raid. But then it was a statement by Yermak saying that everything's open. My attorney's there. Everybody's there. They welcome to do whatever they want. Nobody stops. Nobody at nothing. After the raid, then there was a statement that nothing illegal or nothing wrong was found at his premises. And then, as you know, within a couple of hours, you know what happened after. I'm going to read the official statement by Zelensky. In his address, President of Ukraine said, when all attention is focused on diplomacy and on defending the country during the war, inner strength is needed. Inner strength is the foundation of our external unity and our relations with the world. And to have that inner strength, there must be no reasons to get distracted by anything other than defending Ukraine. I want there to be no questions whatsoever about Ukraine, said Vladimir Zelensky. The president thanked Yermak for ensuring that Ukraine's position in negotiations track has always been represented by him as it should be. He emphasized that his position has always been patriotic, and then he quote, but I want there to be no rumors or speculations about our leadership. Everybody supported him. And then Zelensky also said that this is Russia's pushing us. The Russia's disinformation. He said Ukrainians must win. In his address, he said, I am grateful to everyone who ensures that pressure is directed at Russia at the cause of this war, not at our state, our people, not at Ukrainians. Ukrainians must win. This is the most important thing. Russia very much wants Ukraine to make mistakes. There will be no mistakes on our part, Vladimir Zelensky's quote. So, one more last thing. He also quoted, if we lose unity, we risk losing everything. Ourselves, Ukraine, our future. We must come together. We must hold on. We have no other choice. There will be no other Ukraine.
That's some strong language. Before we go any further, Alex, I want our viewers right now on Substack, our subscribers on YouTube. I want to first of all shout out to Caroline Mack and Myra Rynch, Democracy David, for your support. For our Substack subscribers, I want to make it really clear right now. I need you guys go out there and hit those like buttons, hit those heart buttons, restack it, resend it, share this message to as many people as we can, because this information is extremely important. It's not on any of the news channels. None of the pundits are talking about it. None of them have these sources or resources to be able to give you the facts, what's happening behind the scenes. And that's why it's extremely important. So I'm asking you right now, go out there, make sure you restack, hit those buttons, make sure also cross pollinate. For those of you that are my Substack subscribers, I need you to go on and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, subscribe on Substack. Subscriptions are for free, but they what they do is they bring the algorithm, because it's important for us to get the information out to as many people as possible. And for all of you out there that have give me the backbone, the support, that are my paid subscribers on YouTube, on Substack, that are able to get, donate, contribute to the Venmo, to the PayPal, to the GoFundMe, which is extremely important. I mean, this is extreme. Right now is a time where we're at a precipice of saving our democracy, really. So I want to thank all of you that have already subscribed, and if you haven't yet, please make sure right now hit the like buttons. Go comment something in the button, the algorithm. That's how they work. Restack it, repush it, because this information you're not going to get anywhere else except for here. So and thank you for all for watching. So now let's get back to what we were just talking about, Alex. So Zelensky basically, the way I see that, he said what he says in there is he's trying to be, again, diplomatic. He's basically saying that Yermak did nothing wrong, that we all support him, but because of the controversial thing that is being pushed by Russia, we are going to take every precautionary step to allow the U.S. to be able to somehow have Donald Trump or his administration go down our throat. What's it called?
This is a fact.
Basically,
This is
right.
the
Right. I want to also just let you know, for those of you that are new to our either Substack or new to our YouTube right here channel. I want to make sure very clear that that we bring you up to speed. That this is all not a coincidence. This is part of a game plan that's been put into motion a while ago. This is something that's been happening now. This is also in October when what's his name? Kirill Dmitriev flew down here and met with Witkoff and Kushner. And now that you see that all of a sudden the leaked tapes that are coming out about how they were telling Witkoff was trying to teach the Russians of how to speak to Trump to be able to push the Russian plan through, about how the fact that now all of a sudden Kushner is going down there. There's a reason Kushner is going to Moscow now. He's not going there. Kushner has no experience. He's not a diplomat of peace. Kushner doesn't know Russia, doesn't know Ukraine, doesn't know the history. What Kushner knows is how to dissect the businesses, companies, how to try to milk. That's why Trump is sending him in now, just like he sent them in the Middle East at the very last second. Now he's sending him in. Where he's sending him into the middle to Eastern Europe, because remember, folks, this is a lot bigger than just real estate. The real estate here, the land here, is enriched with minerals. It's enriched with oil, gas, especially when it comes to Europe, Germany, and other countries there. And me and Alex have been talking about what's it called, Nord Stream 2, constantly, about how this is part of Putin is request, and Witkoff's and Kirill Dmitriev's constant push on Witkoff as part of the deal, because through that they want basically America, they're pitching Donald Trump that he'll be able to basically control Eastern Europe gas flow, and which is one of the reasons why, another reason Trump is distancing himself from NATO and from our allies the way he does. But this is right now, a lot bigger play that's happening. So I want to break it down again for those of you that just joined us or that might have been late. So right now, let me set the scene for you. You got right now in Ukraine, you have a major investigation going on into corruption about Zelensky and his inner circle. I want to start off by saying and mentioning that this conversation has been going on prior to even our 2024 election. It's been a mega talking point and a Russian disinformation point since the beginning of the war, trying to say that Zelensky and that his inner circle constantly are stealing money, buying, enriching themselves. It has never been proven to be true. But I will tell you that Zelensky himself and has been constantly changing people in the administration, arresting people, going after people, that have been corrupt. Because I want to state again that corruption happens everywhere. Nobody is immune to corruption. It doesn't matter if you're American, Ukrainian, German, French. It doesn't matter. Corruption doesn't have a word or a title. It's everywhere. So basically, we're having an investigation going on there. That investigation is being pushed by Russia. Right now, it's being pushed by a plan that was brought in by Kirill Dmitriev from information that he received from Andriy Derkach. All of this is meant to be able to do one and most important thing is put pressure on Zelensky to stop the war. So right now, you might have heard in some very short little media that Trump and his team want Zelensky here. I'm going to give you some inside information. Just got off the phone with some of my sources that are telling me the plan is to bring Zelensky here and to put pressure. Zelensky, for those of you that remember, a few months ago, we told you Trump has already put together, basically threatened Zelensky and told him, if you either go or we're going to stop aid and open up an investigation into the money. Zelensky basically turned him down then. Since then, as you could see, Ukraine has received zero aid from the United States. And this time there's going to be a major push. Basically, you see now there's an investigation opened up inside Ukraine. But now what Trump is going to push is that there is going to be Kash Patel and the FBI are going to look into and open an investigation into where the funds and everything goes to try to put even more pressure on Zelensky. Or option number two is going to be you could just end up leaving and immunity, like in the 28-point plan. It says there, if he signs it, that Zelensky and everybody else would get immunity. So that's where we are, folks, right now. We're at the point right now that Donald Trump, along with Putin, is trying to change the regime in the Ukraine. That's how they're trying to stop the war with this corruption plan tornado that's taking place. And what are you hearing, Alex, as far as like who's next or what's the follow? Yeah, yeah,
I'm going to tell you a few other things.
yeah. Go ahead, Alex. Go ahead.
First of all, as we all know, the dog that bites doesn't bark. So they've been barking all since day one they got into the office, Trump administration, about the corruption. If there was at least this bit of a corruption, they would have acted on that already a long time ago, because that's their joker. They never use it. That means they don't have it. Number two, the rumor has it, and very strong, from strong sources, that before Zelensky became president, ran edge. Because of his show, he mocked all the oligarchs and all that stuff. He was offered $100 million to shut up. He never took a penny. And this is long rumor. So like I said, if there was something, it would already happen. But this narrative, as you said, that they've been trying to push this narrative, I think, ever since Trump's impeachment. I think this seed was planted. Anyway, the good thing, the most important thing right now is who's going to be next. And from what I'm hearing, there are three candidates. And one is Prime Minister of Ukraine, Svyridenko. The second one is Minister of Defense, Shmigal. And the third one is Mikhailo Fedorov. Mikhailo Fedorov is the guy. They offered him this position several times, but he's so involved with making Ukraine number one in the world in technology. He's the AI guy. He's the technology guy. He's the one that made the DA in Ukraine. You can travel all over Ukraine, just having your phone and showing the GIA, and it has everything in it. No other country in the world has that. So these three people, none of them supposedly be any assets of anything but Ukraine. They are diehard Ukraine. I follow them. We send this. We post each other once in a while with all of them. So these are very far. And if one of them comes in, this will make Ukraine even stronger. So I support my president. I believe because what he's doing is a very ballsy move. In the middle of the war, when you make changes like that, that means you really picking up the piece. You picking up the win. And also at the same time, since I'm going to add today, two dark fleet tankers. One was coming back from Turkey on the shores of Turkey, and one supposedly blew up on the mine. So finally, the mines that the Russians threw in, they finally blew up on one of them. And the second one, it's not confirmed yet, but there are sources saying that there was a SOS from the second one. We need help. We are under a drone attack. So that's that. Second of all, there is a missile, Smarat in Russia, and they've been saying for maybe for the past 10 years, if not less, that it'll change the game. About 9 months ago, 6 to 9 months ago, I don't remember exact the date, they had a silage where they were going to launch. It's like an intercontinental missile. They were going to launch it, and it blew up in the hole. So it destroyed everything around it. This one, it went up today, and then it came down, and it was such a big purple mushroom staying there for a long time to come. So and now that the masterpiece blew up again. And Putin yesterday made a lot of talks how they took this, they took that. Everything he said today, the reports came out. It's all fake. Not even that. Some town he said that they took doesn't exist. Just doesn't exist. So
he's becoming like Donald Trump. I mean, they just
yeah,
say stuff that
yeah.
they just say it for the sake of saying it.
Also, at the same time, the factories getting hit. The oil refineries getting hit. The airplanes getting hit. The airports getting hit. Madar is our general that's in charge of the drones and everything. They're getting destroyed. They're getting beat up in every direction. And if anybody needs peace and freeze of the war, is them. Because our president, God bless him, may God give him strength to keep on fighting. He said yesterday or the day before yesterday, I'm not gonna quote, but I'm gonna quote what he said. He said it's time to stop depending on our partners' defense to survive. It's time for us to make our own PPO, our own protection against the missiles. It's time we start taking care of ourselves. Just like you've been saying all along, that for at least 5-6 months, Ukraine almost doesn't depend on the stuff that comes from America. So, and also the third, the one that's pleasant, surprising, is that I haven't seen even a peak from Europe. So that means it has to be coordinated, because if this was a surprise, then Europe would have been all over it, because that would be in chaos. So there hasn't been no crazy response, and they believe in Zelensky. They believe in that he's doing the right thing. Verkhovna Rada and the speaker of Verkhovna Rada, Arahamia, said that we support our president. We are with him, and it looks like, and from what I'm hearing, there's going to be a lot of changes. Number one, number two, they're going to take a strong. They're going to deal with army. They're going to change the way they recruit. They're going to listen to the feedback, and they want to change the whole structure in all around. So that's what the army's been modernized. The army's been modernized. So it's like, as you said before, he arrested a lot of people. It's like breaking off the leaves. If the leaf could be bad, but it's still good, let's move it aside. So because one bad apple can destroy the whole bunch. So I believe that's what, I hope that's what it is. That's what Ukraine is doing. But I stand with it. I support it, and I know that the changes were coming. I heard rumors about that even today. But the idea that one of these three is going to take his place is going to move forward.
I'll tell you another thing that some of my sources are telling me here. I'm just going through my phone right now, some of my text messages. So I'm hearing also, folks. Oh, hold on a second. We got Malcolm Nance here. Let's get. Hold on a second. Again, Malcolm is here. Malcolm,
Hey
you here?
guys.
Hey, we got Malcolm Nance here as a special guest. He is currently traveling, driving, and but because of the breaking news, he said he has to join us to make sure that we talk about it. So, folks, Malcolm is here. This is Malcolm. You can't make this stuff up. I mean, Andriy Yermak is gone.
Yeah,
He's under today. Nabu and Saab has basically gone through his raided his house. Um, and the crazy part is he was literally supposed to be here this weekend in Miami to meet with Yermak and not with Yermak, with with Witkoff and Kushner
right.
before they went to Moscow, and he literally was 2 days ago in Geneva, cutting the 1928 to the 19-point peace plan that was fine tuned, that was handed over to the Russians, that the Russians didn't expect. And now, this is, I'm just setting it up, giving you a quick update of what's happening. And, from what all my sources, we've been, listen, me and you have been talking about offline, online. How many interviews have we done? We just got off with Acosta,
Yeah,
and I was saying this has been part of the
right.
setup. This is when Yermak, I mean, when, what's his name? Dmitriev came here in October and handed over not only the 28-point, surrender plan, but he also handed over all of this compromise. And the story I broke just now, Malcolm, I don't know if you heard, but you know where this information is coming from? Andrei
No,
Dirkach. Andrei
of
Dirkach,
course.
and who is currently the senator right now, who was used to be the ex,
The
minister
traitor.
of what's it called, Ukraine, was involved in the whole Biden corruption stuff. Was is right now looking at treasonous charges in Ukraine. He is now living in Moscow. He's a senator there officially, and he is part of this. Who is giving the tapes and of all of this stuff that's happening right now?
Mm. Man, it is just crazy that all of this is happening now. But we spoke about this last week. This is, I mean, the corruption that we have here, which, if I'm not mistaken, if it totals like $100 million, and it comes from the electricity, the energy sector, which is tied at Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant to Moscow. And these are people, everyone in Ukraine is making sacrifices. Their families are making sacrifices.
Malcolm is driving places where we can't disclose to you. So he's breaking up. So let's give him a chance. See, hopefully we could get him.
He'll tell you, but then he has to kill you, right?
Malcolm, if you hear us, you're probably going through some bad area. You want to try to come back on, Malcolm. If you maybe disconnect and come back on, let's try to redo that.
Yeah, he's trying to reconnect.
Let's try. Malcolm, are you back? Okay. I guess we'll see. Uh, yeah, Malcolm promised me to come up here. He's a special guest. We've been doing a lot of stuff, and he's driving right now. But as you guys could see, while we're driving, wherever we are, it's Thanksgiving weekend. It doesn't matter. That's why it is so important, and that's why we ask of you to, support us by subscribing, by becoming paid subscribers, contributing to, the different GoFundMe's, contributing to the different ways through YouTube, Substack, different ways you can, because every dollar, everything helps us to be able to do it. Here, oh, here's Malcolm. I think he's back. Oh, hold on a second. Oh,
All right, can you hear me now?
there. Yep, Malcolm. There we go.
So,
Yep.
sorry. I think the last thing that I said is that this corruption scandal appears engineered, and it was done to discredit and to try to get rid of Zelensky. Now, let me know if that fits your reporting.
Oh yeah, no, this is all done, and this is why they're pushing right now to get Zelensky over here. He's going to basically give him a take it or leave it because it's a regime change. It was part of first they tried to do it through election. If you guys remember, we spoke about me, Malcolm, and Alex. We did so many breaking news of specials on it about talking about how first remember that whole thing in the Oval was when Vance pushed about saying that you have to have elections during it was about regime change. They couldn't do it like that, and then we've been telling you that this is coming. They've been preparing for this for a while, and now they're launching basically their nuclear, as they call, weapon, as the corruption. Which, if you think about, Malcolm, this has been going on since before the elections. I mean, MAGA ran on this. I
Right.
mean, Trump ran. I mean, MAGA constantly would scream that Zelensky's corrupt, everybody's corrupt. They've been talking about this from the first day of the war started. So it wasn't that hard. Now, when you have people like Andrei, uh, Dirkach, and
Dear
people
gosh,
like
yeah.
Dirkach, and people like Kirill Dmitriev that are working directly with the FSB, getting the Kremlin connections. I mean, now they're using that propaganda and allowing Donald Trump, because just think about Donald Trump's words. He said this war has to end one way or
Right.
the other. He doesn't care how it
Well,
ends.
listen, I got to tell you something. What we're looking at, and I want all your listeners to understand this, you are looking at the reverse play of Trump's impeachment. This is Trump using the same thing, ginning up a corruption scandal. He's going to probably have Camp Bondi start investigating it so that his prosecutor in general can investigate it and then go after him and then claim Zelensky's completely corrupt. He is using Moscow's playbook, and I wouldn't be surprised if all of this was coordinated by Moscow and Trump.
Yep, no, it was that's the break. That's what I broke earlier today. This was part of the October meeting. I was literally got off my sources like literally 20 minutes before we jumped on
Mm,
here, and part of the October meeting was not only the 28 plan that was handed over by Kirill Dmitriev to Witkoff, but also they handed over certain pictures, certain audio, video that was delivered by Dirkach to Dmitriev and certain Kremlin other authorities to Witkoff, and which was spread then to social media all over the place, and also given a package to Trump. And that's why afterwards, that's why Trump wants to meet with Zelensky. They have this supposed compromise to show him, but this is from the same people that put together the original compromise in 2016 through 2019 that we dealt with. uh, this is the guy that I told Rudy right before went to prison, Malcolm, right before I got arrested.
yeah.
I was supposed to meet with Dirkach, and I met with others, and they even some of the most crooked oligarchs told me that he's a Russian asset. So I told Rudy, I said, do not meet with, out of all the people, make sure the one person you do not meet with is Dirkach. The second I get arrested, this is October 10th. Literally December, he's in Ukraine meeting with Andriy Dirkach, taking information from him, and then passing out to Lindsey Graham and Senator Ron Johnson that they tried to use to impeach Joe Biden. Literally,
Hmm.
this is the same Andrei Dirkach right now. What's it called? That is feeding them this information to try. And again, as I started off by saying, Malcolm, this is not. I don't think any of us here is trying to defend corruption or trying to defend if Yermak or any of these people are guilty of stealing or not stealing, because we
Hmm.
don't have the evidence. We haven't seen. We don't know. The one thing I think each and every one of us, me, Alex, and Malcolm, could say out loud is that there is corruption all over Eastern Europe, and not just Ukraine, Russia, the Baltics, Poland, even in Europe. You know what? There's corruption here in the White House. There's corruption here in the
No.
United States. There's corruption here. Let's just take the word out of the equation and say yes. And the other thing is Zelensky has been battling with corruption constantly. That's the platform he ran on to come in. If
Yes.
you all remember,
Thank you.
he
Yep.
and he's
He
been
had a TV show that
Yes.
exactly.
was about him taking over from a
Yeah.
corrupt
Yeah, he's
president.
shooting all down.
Yeah, and what has he been doing since he's been in office? He's been constantly removing people, constantly
Oh,
getting corruption, and not only that, the main person. This is the other thing nobody talks about. The main person he put away that everybody was saying he's so corrupt was my arch enemy Igor Kolomolsky. Igor
and his
Kolomolsky,
partner in the TV. So he
right?
put his
You know,
partner away.
he was the one that supposedly got him the presidency, and he was so corrupt. If you
Right.
everybody remember, and he's now sitting in prison.
He's been
Because
staying in prison.
yeah, because Zelensky put it in there, and the other interesting part, the person, else, Malcolm, with there's
Yeah.
some other crazy information. I'm glad Malcolm's here to tell you guys. So,
Mhm.
Twitter just recently started releasing the information of everybody where their account is registered from. So, the biggest account that is going after Zelensky is a guy named by Dubinsky. He's in prison right now in Ukraine, and he is constantly giving information, all of this corruption stuff, supporting all. It's him and Kirill Dmitriev. It's incredible, out of
But
prison.
I'm sorry, but
Mm.
Dubinsky was arrested on espionage. They said that he must be an asset. So
Correct.
he wasn't just put away because he stole something.
Oh,
So
correct,
there's
he's
a
a
reason
Russian.
why
Right.
he's where he's at.
Right. Yeah, he was a
Also,
you,
they already said that instead of Yermak, Umerov is gonna fly to meet Vitkov and Kushner. Umerov is going there.
and we're going to talk about it's irrelevant who flies to meet
No,
him
no,
because
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah, no, I agree.
joking.
I agree with you. It's just going to be a what's it called show, Malcolm. So I mean, and by the way, to Myra
Crazy.
Finch and everybody out there, thank you for your support. Some of the viewers are saying, there should be tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people watching this on YouTube and Substack and all these channels. And that's part of why we're asking each and every one of you right now. The algorithms are set against us. The
Yeah.
truth is a lot harder to push than a lie. And that's why we need you to subscribe, cross pollinate. Make sure you subscribe to everybody on each and every platform that we have. We're out there to be able, all our platforms, our information is for free because we want to make sure to get the information out to save our democracy. The only thing we ask you is that for those of you that can and are fortunate enough that are able to become paid subscribers, contribute to the GoFundMe's, support the different causes, then we say God bless you because you're allowing us to be able to do this full time and to allow the people that can't afford it to get this without paywalls, without anything else. And that's extremely important because of all the stuff in the news breaking. And you remember, none of us here are pundits. None of us here are television reporters. None of us here are personalities. We actually all lived it. Alex right now is in Ukraine, is in the middle of the war, with missiles and shaheeds flying over his head without light. His daughter is literally sleeping inside, what's it called? The bathroom inside
Bathtub, huh?
the bathtub. Malcolm has served our country for over 40 years, put his life, his family at stake to be able to serve us, for us to be able to have the right to be able to have free speech. Not only that, but the level he is an actual. When you read about spies, he is the actual spies, and all the books that he's written, he's a number one New York Times bestseller. Plus, he served in Ukraine. The information and knowledge, it's not like some pundit on TV. And me, folks, I was part of making MAGA. I'm
Yeah.
not. I was part of. I lived. I was part of the cult. I was as close as they get, and I was the one that was sent to Ukraine to put pressure on Zelensky to deal with all of these oligarchs and Putin stuff. So the information you're getting here, you're not going to get anywhere else, and that's why it's so important that either you're watching it live or once we put this out, through the tape version. Each and every one of you, the number one thing, you make sure you support it by subscribing to each and every one of us. Those of you that can become paid subscribers, though they can contribute in each and every way. But the number one thing is spread it, build the platforms because subscriptions are free, and those are putting a like is for free, restacking, resharing is for free, making
Mhm.
putting a comment is for free. All of those things make a big difference. Besides that, so when people say what else can I do besides donating, I just gave you a list of all those things each that you could do right away, each and every one of you, and that has nothing to do with money. And for those of you that can, like I said again, God bless you. And I hate to keep repeating and saying it, but we are living. We do not have corporate sponsors. We do not have the Elon Musk or the billionaires of the world. We have you guys, and that's why I need to keep reminding each and every one of you, because you guys are the gas that keeps this machine going, fighting to save our democracy against Donald Trump. Because we're doing it not for the fame, we're doing it to save our democracy. And believe me, it's a lot harder to spread the truth than it is to spread the lie. No, Malcolm.
Yeah, absolutely right. And let me tell you something. We are up, especially on platforms like X. You are up against Russia. Okay, Elon Musk is an ally of Moscow. I noticed that my feeds when in pre-Elon Musk, I used to get regularly 50, 100,000 likes from all of my things and over 1 million plus views. Now, if I get 500, it's amazing. If I get 1,000, it's amazing. They have that machine rigged against anyone who's pro-Ukrainian, and definitely against the administration. So you have to understand that you too are part of this effort to fight, work disinformation, especially if you're a NAFO fella or something like that. You are part of the system that has to beat it. And by having these discussions and getting this breaking news from players like Lev, and people who are on the ground like Alexander, you're doing that one thing, like President Zelensky said, you're doing one good thing for Ukraine every day.
By the way, right now I'm just reading the report. Already in the air, launches expecting over 600 Shaheds and
Sure.
probably over 50 missiles, ballistic, Kinjals. I mean, and not another 6 planes just took off. Those are the ones that launch.
Yeah.
So looks like
It's going to be a tough
caliber.
night.
It's going to be a tough
Looks like
night.
we are in for a very tough. And you know what I noticed? Every time we gain a little break, a little balance in electricity, when there is no, they still shut it off for 4 or 5 hours every day, couple of times, but at least not extra, like extreme shut off. As soon as we get a little balance, attack comes in.
I'll
As soon as we
tell
get
you.
a little balance, attack comes in. It's like they're watching this stuff, and they give us a chance to fix it a little bit, then they launch again. We fix, they launch again. But we're hitting them just as hard. So let's let them feel better. But like I said, the market is probably going to be a little bit tough night.
Yeah, no, I didn't even want to tell you this, Alex, but Jason Smart was supposed to be on here with us also. He's live in Ukraine right now, and his sources told him that it's going to be a very tough night. That's why I wanted to get you to stop this, because I want you to go and protect yourself for safety.
Yeah.
He couldn't come on because he's going to a bunker right now. Also, they're gearing up because what the military sources are telling him that the attack are coming. Also, before we go quickly, I have some more breaking news. My sources are telling me that there's other people that are probably going to be on the list. One of the people I'm hearing, the names that's coming out is Alexei Kaluba. He's the deputy prime minister for reconstruction. That he might be gone. Yeah, and others. So we're going to be, folks, we're going to be reporting on this. Stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe. We're going to be writing on the Substacks, going live later. There's a lot of breaking news. Also, Malcolm, I don't know if you heard, it just broke that Trump has officially canceled out all the pardons that Biden did by auto pen, making them null and vote.
He can't. He can say it,
well,
but he can't.
he said it, and now they're going to go. Now we're going to see where the Supreme Court stands.
Fight.
Right. This is going to be. Yeah.
Quick comment. Listen, when I was last in Ukraine a couple of years ago, I visited Nabu as it was standing up. That's the Anti-Corruption Bureau, right? And you've never seen people who were hot to end corruption in Ukraine. And these people, I mean, when you talk to them, they cannot be bought. These are people who've also lost family members and were a dedicated group of people. So, and it's Zelensky who's allowing them to clear out his cabinet. If these guys are on the take for anything, But you can tell just by the bags under Zelensky's eyes, he doesn't have time for this bullshit.
Yeah,
And that anybody who thought that they would earn 1 hryvnia extra on the backs of soldiers who are dying, this guy's giving out medals every day to family members who are receiving them posthumously. And to have somebody there thinking, okay, this war is going to end eventually. I'm going to have a little something in my pockets. No, straight to the guillotine.
absolutely. And like I said, Zelensky's been doing it every day. The only problem I have with this investigation and what's happening right now is the source, where it came from. Again, doesn't mean that Yermak is guilty or not guilty. It's not about that. Just like when we talked about Abreu Garcia, if he was
Right.
guilty or not guilty, it's the fact that he didn't get his due process. And the way this investigation is opened up, it's not because Nabu opened it up, like you said, Malcolm. It's because the information was passed on through the Russians to Witkoff. Witkoff pushed it to Nabu, and now this
Right.
investigation. So
Right.
that's where my again, not I want to
Reverse
make it clear.
reverse impeachment.
Correct,
It's
exactly.
Trump is so, you could just almost feel it, like Trump going, well, this is how you almost got me. I'm going to use the same thing to get you.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, and they know how to use it, Nabu folks. Absolutely. Remember, Nabu was set up for anti-corruption. So Zelensky has been allowing Nabu to do their work. Oh, if you do a little history, take a look. It's constantly there is corruption. People see it. It's just a natural thing, and it doesn't matter what country you live in. Doesn't
That's
matter what
correct.
part of the world you live. That's why and I always say it, guys. Me, Malcolm, Alex, we always say the same thing. Let the war end, and then have your tribunals go
Yes,
after it,
Correct.
have your investigation. You
everybody.
can't you can't do it, especially right now when you have so much Russian disinformation, so much corruption in the middle of a war. Start changing administrations, start changing leaderships, because at the end of the day, you're just going to run into some major corruption, even worse than you're trying to supposedly protect. So look, guys, Malcolm, why don't you give me your final thoughts, and then Alex, because we have a lot of breaking stuff. I know you're
My
driving.
my final thoughts are just simple. Ukraine's going to get it again tonight and every night. All right. Think about the people on the ground there, and don't be distracted by these goddamn Moscow tricks. They now know that they have a president they can manipulate, and they will do whatever they can politically to damage Ukraine. So, Alex, stay safe. Slava
Thank you,
Ukraine.
my brother.
Good on, Slav. Thank you, Malcolm. Drive safely, my brother.
All
Alex,
right.
give
Uh,
us your final words.
well, my final thought is it's very simple. As you always say, uh, doing all your streams, you always say, don't watch what they say, watch what they do. So the difference with Ukraine, you have to listen to what they say and then watch what they do. Because in Ukraine, what they say, we do. We don't just talk and then rewind it and start all over again. If we say, we do. If we say, we do. It's 1-2 punch. So I'm looking for a lot of positive to come out of this. I'm looking for this to make us a lot stronger. I'm looking for if there are guilty parties to, as you say, you will deal with them later. But nevertheless, I believe this is going to make us stronger. And I like I said before, God gives strength to our administration, to the one that fights for the people, the one that fights for the freedom. Slava Ukraine!
Geroim Slav, Alex. Thank you for all of that, and I agree with you. And for all of you that just joined us, we're going to put this out to make sure to watch the recording so you can watch the full episode. It's extremely important. We broke a lot of news, a lot of important information. The number one thing we ask each and every one of you to, if you're watching on YouTube or Substack, to please share this information, retweet it, reshare it, like it, comment on it, send it to your friends. The more we need to build a community, because the most important thing is the information that we're giving you. Again, We're not pundits. We're not reporters. All of us live it. From Alex being on the ground, Malcolm being serving our country, being an actual spy, and folks, there's nobody out there that knows these people better than me. Not only because remember, I'm the one that they sent to do the dirty work to Eastern Europe. I'm the one that went to prison for all of them. I'm the one that had all the receipts. I testified in Congress. That is why I need your support more than ever. Not only do we need to support the people of Ukraine, but we need to support our mission here. I know it's a lot to ask of, but I gotta ask of you because this is a time where we gotta be able to save our democracy, and that's the only way we're gonna do it. So please hit those subscribe buttons. Hit those if you can become paid subscribers. Contribute however you can, and remember. We are going to win our democracy, and we are going to get Ukraine and their sovereignty back. So I want to thank each and every one of you that are watching. God bless you. Stay safe and stay tuned because I'll be going live again very shortly. We got breaking news with, I think it might be a major surprise. Co-host on this one with this whole Biden and this whole canceling of the Parnas. So a lot happening for a Friday for Thanksgiving weekend. But for all of you, you know, Alex, the most important thing is you stay safe, brother. You know, and call me, text me, let me know that everything's okay tonight. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Take
you.
care, everybody. Have a great day.